Hello everybody, my name is Anju Esther Balakrishnan. I'm legal intern of LEXIS and Company, and I'm here to talk about the breach of contract under the Indian Contract Act 1872. So basically, the parties in the contract are supposed to fulfill their contractual obligations under Section 37 of the Indian Contract Act 1872. However, when one of these parties are unable to fulfill their contractual obligations or the promises that they made, then the contract is said to be terminated or dissolved or breached. And such a situation is known as the breach of contract under the Indian Contract Act. This happens, as I said, A and B are in a contract. They have duties or obligations that they have to do. A is unable to fulfill their duties. Hence, the contract is breached. However, when A is unable to fulfill these duties because of his inability, B suffers from losses. And hence, compensation must be provided to B in order to make sure that these losses can be compensated, and B is put into a situation which he would have been if the contract would not have been breached and if it would have been fulfilled in the proper way, which is why compensation is provided. Now we have to understand that damages are paid in case of breach of contract, and the objective, as I mentioned before, is to ensure that the party who incurs the loss is put into the same position that they would have been if the contract had not been violated. So hence the damages must be in proportion to the lost experience. Now we can see that the non-defaulting party to a contract has the right to reimbursement of damages or losses caused by other parties is breach of contract under Chapter 4 of the Indian Contract Act 1872. And Section 73 entitles the party who has breached the contract to compensate for the actual damages or losses. Even without the evidence of the loss, reasonable liquidated damages can be paid. However, it must be understood that in the event of the breach of contract, the parties in the contract may agree that the defaulted party should pay a certain amount to the other, and the amount given to the other does not have to be the genuine pre-estimate of the loss, but an amount intended to secure the performance of the contract, and such an amount can be known as penalty. Basically, it means that if the parties come to a compromise, come to a conclusion that they do not have to pay the exact amount, the proportional amount to the loss, and they just have to pay an amount in order to secure the performance of the contract, such an amount, instead of being known as a compensation, instead of being known as damages, would be known as penalty, because it would not be proportionate to the loss, but it would be just an amount to satisfy or to show that performance of contract has been conducted. However, we must understand that in such situations, mere stipulation does not give the right for compensation by the way of penalty. When it comes to penalty, it has to be proved that losses and damages have been occurred due to the breach of contract. Unlike when it comes to unlike when I said in the above situation, when it comes to reasonable damage provided, it does not have to be proved, but when it comes to penalty, it has to be proved. The breach of contract, basically, from all that we have said above, to summarize it, the breach of contract basically means the inability of one party to perform their duties, or to fulfill their duties or obligations under the contract, mentioned under the contract, thus leading to the dissolution of the contract, which subsequently leads to losses to the other party, which would be which would be compensated by providing damages which would be proportionate to the loss. And if this compensation is not proportionate to the loss but just an amount that fulfills the contract or makes sure that the contract is performed, it would be known as penalty. I hope that you could understand the brief summary of what is breach of contract under the Indian Contract Act and what is compensation under breach of contract and why is it provided in such situations. However, we must understand that compensation for breach of contract is a vast topic which has to be explored and understood in a very in-depth manner, which would be taken in the other videos in the upcoming days. I hope that you could understand what I'm trying to explain in this video. If you like the video, please press the like and subscribe button in order to get more videos and in order to understand about more law related topics in a more clearer as well as in a more in-depth manner. Thank you for your time and I hope you have a wonderful day ahead.